Hey there and welcome. Today we're going to do something really cool. We're going to break down the DNA of the English language into its two most fundamental parts. And by the end of this, you'll have the blueprint for building your very own sentences. Okay, so let's start with this really powerful idea. I want you to imagine something for me. Think of learning English not as a chore, but as building this vibrant, sprawling city completely from the ground up, brick by brick. And just like any city, we've got to start with the most essential building materials. Once you get these two down, everything else just kind of clicks into place. So think of it like this. In our language city, nouns are the things. They're the buildings, the parks, the objects, the stuff that gives the city its shape. But the verbs? The verbs are where the magic happens. That's all the action, all the life. The cars moving, people talking. It's the city breathing. Okay, so the big question is, which building block is which? How do we actually tell the difference between a static thing and a dynamic action? Well, it's way simpler than you might think. And this is really all it is. Nouns are just things. They can be physical, like a table, or something you can't touch, like love. Verbs, on the other hand, they're the engine of the sentence. They're all about action, or a state of being, or some kind of change. But you know what the best part is? You already have a secret weapon in your back pocket. Let's look at how you can use what you already know in Turkish to spot an English verb instantly. All right, check this out. This is a brilliant little strategy, especially for Turkish speakers. It's called the Mekmak test. Think of it like a secret key, this super simple trick that unlocks the difference between a noun and a verb pretty much every single time. So let's actually see how this works. You can say gitmek, right? And it sounds totally normal. But what about masa mak? No way, that's just nonsense. See? The test immediately separates the action from the object. It's that easy. Okay, so you've got this cool trick, but how does this little test actually build a bridge from what you know in Turkish right into the heart of English grammar? Let's find out. This right here, this is the big connection. This is that aha moment, that mekmak ending, the one that names an action in Turkish. It's the exact same idea as saying to go or going in English. Just look at this. Gitmek, to go, going. They're all just different labels for the exact same action. And getting this concept down is so important for building more complicated sentences later on. All right, that's enough theory for now. It's your turn to be the architect. Let's take these building blocks we've been talking about and put them to work with a quick practice exercise. So, on the screen here, you'll see a table with a bunch of Turkish verbs. We've done the first one for you. Yazmak becomes to write and writing. Now it's your turn to fill in the rest of them. So this is a great time to hit pause. Seriously, take a minute and try to complete the exercise. Don't worry, I'll be right here when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, ready? Let's see how you did. We're going to go through the answers one by one. First one up, okumak. In English, that action is called to read or reading. Nice and simple. Next up for işitmek. The correct forms are to hear or hearing. And for the verb bakmak, you should have written down to look or looking. Hope you got that one. Then we've got görmek, which of course becomes to see or seeing. And wrapping it up, the action of düşünmek is named to think or thinking in English. So how'd you do? I bet you did great. And you know what? It all boils down to this incredibly simple formula. You take a building word, a noun, and you connect it with an action word, a verb. And just like that, you've got the basic blueprint. You've built the skeleton of a real English sentence. So there you have it. You now have the fundamental tools, the two most important materials you need to start building your own city of English. Which really just leaves one last question for you to think about. Now that you have the blueprint, what's the very first thing you're going to build?